WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I'm in England, better said in London, at the BIMBER Distillery. Ooh, their second release ever. This is actually the second official release. This is BIMBER Re-Charred, oak casks. Char level 4, batch number 1, bottled September 2019, one of 5,000 bottles. So this is whiskey base number 141046. In the UK, it's 65 pounds. For me, it was 82 or 83 euros. And probably in the States, it will be about the same if it even makes it over there. I have no idea. Darius. I know a couple people with the name Darius, and all of them come from one country. Poland. And this guy, Darius, also came from Poland. He moved then to the UK in 2003 and started a successful company. Then he decided, hey, I really want to follow my passion, do what my grandfather did, distill. And so his dream became reality in 2015 when he built, or his own distillery was built according to exactly his plans. Now, this guy is mean. He really means business, all right? Darius knows what to do and what not to do. All right, so 3 years old, 2016, 2019 released. What they first of all do, they do not mill their grain. This is 100% malted barley, so they crush it. Especially also with the husk of the grain, very important. Get rid of one of those factors and you have very, very nice quality at the beginning. Second of all, they take their grain from one single farm. So they know the farmer, they check the crop, they have one farm where they get their grain from. Wow. Second of all, or third of all, they have 2 different yeast strains and they ferment their mash for 7 days in a temperature-controlled mash tun, which means that they keep the mash between 26 and 28 degrees Celsius. Many distilleries, and most of them also in Scotland, do the following. They put the yeast into the mash, they let the temperature increase up above over 30 degrees Celsius, and then the yeast dies, and that yeast stays in the product, that dead yeast, and that's not what we want. Many people actually try to do the yeast fermentation process in 36, 48 hours. They use 7 days. Repeat, 7 days. Wow. So, and that of course creates more esters, and we want esters because that's the fruity goodness of a good whiskey. So their stills are made in Portugal, not Forsyths from Scotland, but Portugal. Darius repurposed them, and he actually made them being direct fired, so you have a gas fire underneath, and that actually controls a lot of what's going on and makes it for a big difference. And last, and if not least, what I'm going to mention this moment, I'm sure there's many other things. When you distill something, you heat something up. In the beginning, you have your heads. And then you have your heart, that's what you want, and at the end you have the tails. What do you do with your heads and your tails? Many people take the tails, or sometimes even the heads, and throw them back in the next batch. And so you just distill it again, and distill it again, and distill it again, and you never get rid of these because those ugly, yucky stuff somehow do evaporate or are heated up, and somehow they do condense later on, become part of the product. They said, no, we're going to throw away the heads and the tails. All right, why not? Very, very good. I don't know if it's somehow recycled someplace else, but whatever. All right. So, people, the YouTube community, at least the UK YouTube community, is absolutely bimber crazy at the moment. All right. So this came out. This was actually bottled, as I said, in September. It made it to Germany. Oh, I have bottle number 933. I never even mentioned that. All right. So this was in November. A lot of people were reviewing this from the UK because they got their hands on the bottle. It took a while to get to Germany, so we'll see when my review actually appears online. And also, Food Quig visited the distillery, so I'm going to try to make it over to England sometime soon, but visit someone very special up in Milton Keynes, and then either on the way down or the way up, maybe stop by the distillery. Make something happen here. Darius, watch out, I'm coming. Now, to be very, very honest, the nose doesn't really wow me. All right. So I'm getting a little bit of fruitiness. I'm getting a little bit of the oakiness. And I'm getting a little bit of the caramel from those nice ex-bourbon casks. If I'm correctly informed, those casks were actually used in a different distillery and they were toasted. And then when they used them as a toasted virgin oak, they discarded the casks, or Darius bought the casks, and he said, well, I'm going to make my Cooper actually re-char these up to level 4. This is the alligator char. This is what Wild Turkey and a couple other places uses. So char level 4 is a very, very long time to be kissed by fire. An interesting nose, not spectacular, and nothing worthwhile. 51.9% ABV. So for you in the States, I'm just going to say it's going to be 104 proof. It's not perfect, but you understand. 103.8 proof. A pleasant nose. All right. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Now, I must admit that the very first 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, was, okay, a little bit of alcohol here. And then those fruity esters, that fruitiness takes over. And the alcohol is now just the supporting role. It's actually very, very nice. And the other thing that's very, very unique about this whiskey is the mouthfeel. We don't talk about the mouthfeel enough. The viscosity. This is creamy goodness. There's a whiskey from Israel at the moment, Milk and Honey. And I haven't had it. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that sometime soon. I have a sample over there, but don't worry. And I imagine the whiskey called Milk and Honey. And this is how it tastes. The honey. The creaminess. This is so amazingly creamy, oily, and just so thick. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very, very good. As I said, the very beginning is like, oh, and then it's like, oh, wow. I think it was the Malt review that wrote, and I'm going to try to regurgitate what I remember. They said Bimber's doing something very special. Because of course, we, whiskey experts, we taste whiskeys, and many of the things we taste are very complex, and you need a lot of experience to actually be able to encounter that whiskey the way that maybe the distiller wanted you to. For a beginner, they're going to go, ooh, wow, that's just too strong. And we, the whiskey connoisseurs, we've trained our palate. We've come to recognize goodness and greatness where it sometimes actually is. And a beginner just is turned off and says, no, too much. No. This is actually a wonderful balance between something that we, the connoisseurs, like, and something that the beginner could actually access. 50.9% is a very bold move, to be honest. They could have done 40%, they could have done 43%, they could have done 46%. No, 51.9% ABV. Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Darius, for that. Okay, if you know my videos by now, what I like to do is I like to always compare. Now, I'm going to actually pull out two whiskeys I'm going to compare this with. One is the 1770 Glasgow Distillery, which is very, very new. So this is the 2019 release. This is barely... it's 3+ years old. All right. And second of all, I'm going to take a look at another English distillery, which is Coswolds. I like Coswolds. And this is their founder's choice. This is actually a 60.9% ABV. And this is my second bottle, so you really know that I like this. So, from the price point, this is actually about 20 euros cheaper than this. And this is a 0.5 liter bottle. And so this is also still about 20 euros less than the Bimber. Now, if I were to buy these in England, I'm going to say they're probably around a similar price point. They might be £10 cheaper than this, but hey, who knows? All right, so On the nose, I like this. This is made with STR casks, shaved, toasted, and recharred Portuguese red wine casks. Very, very high percentage in there. Very nice. This is made with ex-bourbon casks and finished in virgin oak. Needs a little while in the glass before it kind of comes out. It's a lot more of a vanilla. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of floral. This has a little bit more of the raspberries and a little bit of the fruitiness of that red fruit. And this has a lot more of the herbs and spices. I described this in my German video actually as almost having like a single pot still type of funk. That spice, that goodness there. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. I was kind of hesitant when I had the nose, and then I actually tasted it and I was like, wow, good job. Most people are giving this an 8 out of 10, and that's an amazing review mark for a 3-year-old whiskey. Very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and come back to this, all right? So the Founder's Reserve here from Coswald's, 60.9%. What I really like about this is how approachable 60.9% can be. Has a little bit of heat, but it's nothing like you would expect 16.9% to be. And it has so much flavor. The fruitiness, the forest berries, the wild berries. Very, very nice. Good whiskey. Over here, 1770, and they have a great visitor center, by the way. 1770 in Glasgow, not yet. Very difficult to go in there. There's more of an industrial area. But the great thing about 1770 is they've actually been able to do all of the building and all the expansion work without actually going to the bank and getting money. They've actually been able to do self-financing, which is fabulous. And therefore the visitor center was a little bit towards the end here. Expect good things from 1770. This year we'll have a peated release and also a triple distilled release, which I'm really looking forward to. Very through the virgin oak, a lot of vanilla in there, very, very nice. But nothing compares to this at the moment, all right? Oops, sorry. The mouthfeel here is just so much more. As I said, the nose is not really, it doesn't give the evidence of the greatness in the glass. Wow. Such a long finish as well. Oh, wow. It's a little difficult for me to describe exactly all of the notes here. I had one guy in the UK, he did this and he talked about espresso and cappuccino and mocha and so on. I hate coffee. And yet this is great. I don't have any mocha. I don't have any espresso. I don't have any cappuccino here. I have Italian spices. I have caramel on top of a wonderful malty goodness. I have a little bit of vanilla with a nice touch of wood in there. Those Re-Charred casks were really, really good. Using the great products, fermenting at a very slow rate, controlled, distilling at a very slow rate, getting rid of the heads and tails, and then using the best possible casks. Secret of success. Darius, you did a great job. I'm going to give you a B+ for this whiskey. Now for me over here in Europe, it's going to be a C- for the value for money. If I were in the UK, 65 pounds would actually be a C. That's just fine, I think, for this. I personally have one little thing, problem. It doesn't fit in my shelf. It doesn't fit in my shelf. It's too tall. Yeah, and so it just doesn't fit. It's just one of those big bottles, and like E.H. Taylor and so on, and I'm not a really big fan of that. I'm sorry. I like to have my bottles be able to fit in my shelf, be a little bit more normed, and so on. But other than that, I can't find anything wrong with this whiskey. Great mouthfeel, wonderful taste, a well-done whiskey. I would never have thought that it's 3 years old. Sorry. Good job. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. My question of the day is, what is your favorite new distillery then in the UK? It could be in Wales, it can be in England, it could be in Scotland. What is your favorite new distillery? Tell me why. WhiskyJason here. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, tell others, maybe even share this video if you like. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.